overcome what was done in an attempt to play dumb.
Carlos Contreras shares how self-reflection in poetry can lead to positive change.
Need something to write with? Try one of those doesn't work, so try and give me back the one that doesn't work. Write about whatever you like. It doesn't have to be a poem. Whatever's on your heart, whatever's on your mind.
Well, this man the other day told me that he could not understand the world that I'm from. And it made me admit that I could never understand his either. I sit in this classroom on Wednesdays in the evening, and there's this dude who's trying to understand the world of orange jumpsuits and criminal histories. His heart is like a golden microphone trying to hold a conversation with a broke speaker. It's somehow they communicate.
This program that we run out here, we tout it as a self-reflective process, as a journey of looking at oneself and the decisions we make and the choices we make in life and what we're going to do in our future and otherwise what we're doing in the present. Man, it's modeled partly in that way because that's simply what I do with writing. It's the way I figure myself out. I continually discover things about myself on an emotional level, and writing is the easiest way to do that for me.
Now as I look back and remember the past, riddled with painful memories of childhood laughs, just an act to overcome what was done in an attempt to play dumb, while at the same time trying to suppress the memories and screams that insisted on waking me from my childhood dreams.
To be true to the art form, or as true, in my opinion, as true to the art form as possible, you have to realize that it's not about you. I write primarily about myself, and although that might sound weird sometimes, I write about understanding myself, and that makes me pretty vulnerable on stage most of the time, but the reaction to some of those pieces have been comfort on behalf of audience members that have heard them, and that has made me realize that it's not about me. It's totally about the experience of somebody else hearing what I have to say, not because they need to listen to me, but because hearing what I have to say might help them figure out something about themselves.
But life's tricky, so it came fast like a freight train. Once a young boy, now a young man. I was living bad words, no censorship. I had a good life, but it slipped right through my fingertips. I thought life was a game and I played myself with both hands. I'm ambidextrous. I know my light's not bright right now, but in time it will shine because it's mine.
I would say the biggest thing that people can learn about the folks that are in here that I've learned is that it's not bad people, it's bad decisions. I've learned that people give up on themselves when you give up on them, and our program aims to not give up on anybody. Holding people's ability to learn is dangerous. To put people back out on the street without any increased intellectual capacity, any increased capacity for being compassionate and caring, any capacity that doesn't allow them to be self-reflective, taking somebody in and turning them back out on the street, either in the same situation they were or in a diminished situation because you gave them no service while they were locked up, that's more dangerous to me. Our participants in Just Right come from, not all of them, but a lot of them come from backgrounds of drug-addicted parents. A lot of them come from split families. A lot of them come from being homeless. It's a lot of solitary time, and then they end up in places where you spend even more solitary time. My point being, they very rarely get to speak to anybody that wants to listen.
Start CPR because I don't feel the heartbeat. It's just another addict that fell off his feet.
It's not a question of if, it's just how are people going to change? Are we going to help them to change themselves for the better? Are we going to help them to continue to make the wrong choices and change for the worse?
Because it's funny how things could change for the better. And the good Lord sent me here just like a letter. And just like that, it all went away. Like a dream I had to wake up the next day. I'm free from that life, can't you see? Because once again, God saved me.
12 years ago when I started doing poetry, I'm from 2 older brothers and a dad who was a Marine, and so poetry, being a poet, wasn't like the most attractive thing, or it was kind of something to make fun of for a real long time, you know, until they went to an event, until my dad heard the first poem I wrote about him, and then they realized that there was something within that art form that although they didn't practice it, they could begin to appreciate, they could realize what it took. Engaging with an audience or with a group of people, for me, comes primarily out of being honest. You know, in my writing, it's simply who I am and what I do, and there are no punches pulled, and there's genuine honesty delivered.
I need to focus on the better days, but the crimes they committed be depending on the weather change. And people steady asking for it, but can they really weather change? I'm just giving my 2 cents. Cause the dude I knew back in the day that moved bricks underneath the overpass asking for 2 cents.
I care because somebody has to. I care because I met a partner on this project that has a heart just as big as mine. I care because I realize that the facility care. I care because we're allowed to care, and until they take that ability away from us, then it's our responsibility to do so. There are 3,000 people in this place. If nobody cares about them, then what are we doing for our own community? Do I understand them at all times? No. Do I relate to their background and their experiences all the time? No. Can I care about them even though I don't have that level of understanding? Absolutely. I strive for perfection. It was born into me, branded, expected to be a better version of self with the setting of each sun. Each sun a different rendition of the same song. My melody, discordant though it may be, sings. Because I do anything to be able to. But instead, I write. But these instances are never the final draft. Edit in progress. I am a practitioner of process. Poetry bent into the frame of this ink scroll must have something, sometimes finding nothing at the end of me. New beginnings offered to each day with the rising of the sun. And I don't mind the sweat, grind, hustle, humble, respectful, respectable. I respect boundaries even when ignoring or breaking them. Aware that they are there, often push beyond the comfortable to find the memorable. Remember me for being the weird kid, loud ones, squeaky wheel, loose screw, dollar shop, but never a minute too late. In fact, sometimes too soon for what's about to come. Coming out of my shell, I figured out these wings need no cocoon. Monarch mounting metaphors, I'm still flying. I write like that's all there is to life, and sometimes it is. But I'm finding space to be comfortable with that I cannot control, which can commonly be reduced to my own thoughts, emotions, and fingertips, mouth, feet, and lips. I'm a mess. Mass mayhem with ink and a story to tell. Remember me for being confusing, confident, coincidentally always there when you need me, but confused as to what I should be doing. Things are getting done in means and matters of importance. I will remember myself not as important, but better yet, insignificantly different than you. Because we make better music when making moments with our conversations. Life is a foreign language and our interactions are simply the translations. I am forked tongue, never forgotten I hum, sick of the sound of my own voice. If only I could sing. I'd Billie Holiday my way away from here. Coltrane, catch the next one out of town. Onto something not so blue, less gray, all needle and no fix. I'd scratch whatever's beneath the surface and remix. Mix my mouth back into something that made sense. If only I could sing.